Delta Airlines is back and they are hiring like crazy for the summer. Now, all of these roles are going to come with equipment, and some of these bonus opportunities actually provide you with training. Bottom line, we got something for everybody, but these will not last long, so let's hop right in. But first, I got to do my shout outs because Mr. Anthony said, congrats to everyone that's getting hired. I actually have my current job by using Jazzy's interview questions. The magic wand question is what helped me get my current role. I will be looking for a new opportunity due to my 1-year contract is ending next month. So I will be next again. You guys say congratulations to Anthony. This is why I always tell you to say I'm next, because that's what happens when you put your intention into the universe. You get the job, you use the interview tips, and you get to say, I got the job. So congratulations to you, Anthony. We know that you will be next again, and you know that I am here to support you. So congrats to you. I just want to say this is the year, this is the day, the moment to shoot your shot. Okay. I don't care what anybody said. I don't care what the job description say. You are going to shoot your shot just like all of these people that work from home for Delta did. And I wanted to show you these examples. So Queen said, hi, Jazzy. I got to give credit where due. I saw your first video about the Delta Elite Services remote position back in 2023. I applied, and by my surprise, I was invited to do the interview, went through the process, got the job, and I'm happy to say that Delta Airlines has hired me and my start date is July 17th. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, I love this because so many people said Delta didn't hire remote. And I wanted to prove to you by way of showing you all of these people that ended up getting remote jobs at Delta. Because what happens is when they post a role and they say they want somebody from a specific city, if they don't get enough applicants, then they have to open it up to remote applicants because that is the business need. They have to base this on business need. So all of these people shot their shot and they went for that Delta opportunity and they all got the privilege of working from home. So Miss Helena got that privilege. Sarah got the privilege. Monique got the privilege. Queen, so many of these people said, I'm just going to shoot my shot and see what happens. And guess what? They all got the benefit of working from home. So stop telling me that these companies only hire in a certain city. I don't care. You shoot your shot and you see what happens. So comment down below and say, I'm shooting my shot. Say down below right now, this is the time for me to shoot my shot. Okay, let's declare it so that we can all hear the same thing of you got the job. All right, now let's hop back into these opportunities. So super quick reminder, Airbnb is still hiring, okay? They are hiring for a platform integrity specialist. Now, if you're someone that doesn't want to talk to customers over the phone, but you just kind of want to do it via email support or through case support, you can do that with this particular role because it says you're going to review, triage, and resolve user tickets, okay? This is a heavy ticketing role. There are no phones involved, but if you're someone that's good with email support, ticket support, you've ever worked with like Jira or Remedy, any of those ticketing platforms, you absolutely need to be applying for this ASAP. So with this particular role, it says that they want somebody that has some sort of customer support experience, or trust and safety, or fraud, or risk management. Any of that is perfect for this role. Now, I would tell you right now, you don't have to have all of those qualifications because this role does come with training, okay? There is absolute training provided as well as equipment is provided for this role, and it's going to pay between $58,000 to about $60,000. That does not include the additional compensation that you're going to get for your bonus, your performance bonuses, or the stock allocation that you get in this particular role. So I do want to point out, it says that this role is U.S. remote eligible. So you can essentially work in any part of the United States. There are a couple of excluded states, but most states in the U.S., you can absolutely apply for this role. And yes, training is provided. So apply for this ASAP. I've done the resumes for you. Now, for all of my friends in Canada, just wanted to point out, Airbnb also hires in Canada. So they are looking for a premium support specialist to work on their customer service team as well. So if you're in Canada and you're looking for a role, make sure you apply for this ASAP. Paybump.com has all of the resumes for every job I've ever posted or talked about. I have a resume library of over 600 resumes. So you need to apply for this stuff ASAP. Again, we're going to shoot our shot. Like, this is the year of shooting our shot. We don't care what anybody has said before because we're going to shoot our shot. Comment that down below. I'm shooting my shot. Okay. So now another role with Assurant is going to be for the senior claims analyst. A lot of you have done claims work. You've worked at insurance companies. You've done auto claims. You might have done claims for residences. There are so many different ways to work in insurance. Maybe you've worked in HR and you're just wanting to do something different, something outside of workers' comp, those sorts of things. Well, this is going to be a remote position where you are going to work on complex claims. Okay, so you're going to document damages and losses and prepare written cost estimates. There is some training provided with this, but they do want you to have some sort of property claims experience or education around it. Now, if you don't actively have all of the licenses, I do believe they provide you with the opportunity to acquire those licenses. You may want to go back and check that with the recruiter, but this role is going to be 72 to 120K for that pay range. Okay, so you can easily make 100K in this role or better, depending on your skill set and how you position yourself. Now, they always like to throw in this whole bachelor's degree thing. I am here to tell you, as an insider, you don't necessarily have to have these things. It is a nice to have, okay? If you've got the other things, this is something that it's kind of like it's not a deal breaker, okay? So again, this is the year of us shooting our shot. Now, if you're wanting to do something a little bit different, there is a role for the claims quality auditor role, okay? We all know what auditing looks like. So sometimes you may have to audit a claim that's already been closed. Like, you go back and check to make sure everything was done correctly. So it's kind of like just doing your due diligence. You may have to check behind other people's work, but this says you're going to collaborate with management for accounting, billing, and claims, and identify any risk or potential training opportunities. So say an employee closed a claim prematurely, or maybe they mishandled a claim. You would be that person to say, hey, here's what I spotted. Here's a training opportunity for that employee, right? So apply for this ASAP. This is like a heavy hiring season, so you want to make sure that you're applying for these roles like ASAP, because many of them will have training classes that start like within the next week or two. So make sure you're applying for this. Now, let's get into Delta, because we just showed you all of these people that work remotely. We've said you're going to shoot your shot, okay? We don't care. We're done making excuses, because now it's time for you to shoot your shot. Now, I had a lot of college students saying, Jazzy, what can we do if we're currently in college? We don't have experience and people aren't hiring us because we don't have the experience that they're looking for. Well, Delta has a really wonderful co-op program, okay? If you know anything about co-op programs, it's essentially a really great way to kind of work for a company on sometimes a part-time, sometimes it's a full-time basis. It's a limited amount of time. So you might work for the company for 12 to 18 months. You get a lot of hands-on experience. They show you all these different aspects of the business. So for this particular role, it's either going to be a part of the airport customer service team, cargo team, or the global clean team, okay? This is a 3-semester alternating co-op program. So all my college students out there, all the people that just started college, this is a fantastic way for your children or your nieces, your nephews, whoever is in college. This is such a great way for them to get hands-on experience at one of the top globally recognized airlines in the world. Okay. So make sure you pass this along to any college students out there, because this is a role that I absolutely love for people that don't have experience, right? Now, another role with Delta is going to be their human resources manager role. Again, we've talked about shooting our shot. If they don't get enough applicants in that region, they have to open it up to other regions, because that is based on business need. And trust me, HR is one of those roles where business need will always trump location. It will always trump location. So imagine if they didn't get enough applicants, but you, somebody living in another part of the country, had already applied. Well, wouldn't it be great if they just pulled your application because you shot your shot? Like, didn't we just see this example of people that shot their shot and they ended up working remotely? Didn't we see that? So why are you making excuses for not shooting your shot? I'm just asking, because Jazzy's not going to let you make any more excuses, okay? Now, with this role, again, it's HR. They want you to have some experience. Preferred qualifications are things like a degree. That gives you a competitive edge, but it is not a deal breaker. If you don't have that degree, I've said it a million times, it's not a deal breaker. But a lot of you have those certifications, and those certifications will absolutely get you through the door, right? Absolutely. So let's make sure that we are absolutely applying for these roles. We're shooting our shot. We're taking leaps of faith. We're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. That's all. Okay. We're just going to do it. Okay. So make sure you are applying for these. Now, I wanted to point out one more role that is the Delta Vacations Program Manager role, okay? They are responsible for the day-to-day maintenance efforts on Delta Vacations website, that digital platform that you see. So imagine if you went to the website and there was some type of error, like some words were misspelled, or maybe there was a photo on the website that just wasn't displaying correctly. You would be the person to, number one, report that something's not displaying correctly or something's off about the website. And then you would communicate that to the developers, the development team. You might communicate that to the QA team or other supporting teams that work on the Delta Vacations digital platform. Okay, so this is kind of like project management. If you're a program manager, you normally manage multiple projects at a time. But this is more product delivery. So this is probably going to be where you're talking to different teams to make sure that the website is performing as it's supposed to. When you click on an icon, it's loading quickly. The website isn't like stuck or anything like that. So those are the sorts of things that you will ultimately be responsible for keeping up with. Now, salary range, it's going to go up to $78K a year. But I want to point out that they have a very generous 401k. Okay. That says up to 5%. I thought it was actually like up to 9%. That might be an error. Let's just look and see. So yes, that was actually an error. See, it's a 9% contribution, but if I go back to this other site, to this other job, it's saying 5%. So this is like a prime example of how mistakes happen on job applications. This is why we shoot our shot, because we know that humans can make mistakes, like little mistakes that sometimes discourage people. So make sure you're applying for this. Now, a couple of more bonus opportunities that we have is going to be with Dropbox. Okay. They're looking for an AI operations analyst. And you might be saying, Jazzy, that sounds really scary. But I'm here to point out that it clearly says here, this is not a technical role. Okay. Before you get nervous, this is not a technical role. This role is going to be more of someone that is kind of like a go-between person. So you're identifying opportunities where AI could be integrated, okay, either internally or in customer-facing workflows. So what that means is you may say, hey, here's a self-help article that we give to our customers. Now that article is outdated. Maybe we can use AI here so that customers can help themselves. So you would take that back to the program manager, and you would have a conversation about where to place an AI chatbot. Where would customers get the most value if it's an AI chatbot placed on somewhere on the website? So that's an example. Again, they say here, this is not a technical role. It's just a role that requires you to kind of understand systems and to understand processes. And if you're someone that's very logical, you like to do research, you're a very forward facing person when it comes to like just knowing what would benefit a customer, what would make their experience easier, what would make them have a smoother experience on the website, then you need to be applying for this because Dropbox pays really, really well, like 160K for zone 2 up to 142K for zone 3. So there's no reason why this shouldn't be something that everybody applies for, especially when I've already done the resumes and they're in your resume portal, okay, already. Now, our very last position is going to be Coinbase. Okay, we know Coinbase. They're hiring for a compliance L&D specialist. That's going to stand for learning and development. So they're essentially like the team that puts together training materials for internal employees. And for this particular role, they're going to be putting together a lot of training materials for new hires, people that are newly onboarded to the company. So their materials are going to be related to the new hire experience. So I like this not just for my teachers. I like doing this for teachers because it's about compliance. It's about curriculum, setting that sort of training outline or lesson plan. So yes, my teachers can apply for this, but they also talk about things like anti-money laundering, right? And a lot of you with banking experience, you've done that before in your past. So make sure if you've got banking experience, security, you've worked in compliance, maybe auditing, maybe you've worked in insurance, you've worked as a teacher, a paralegal, all of that, it would be perfect experience for someone applying to work in learning and development because this is going to be for their compliance team. Okay. So let's look at what it pays down here. It's going to pay $41 an hour. That's that's about $82,000 per year. In addition, they do give you a bonus. On top of the bonus, you're also going to get equity in the company, which is stock in the company, and full benefits. Okay, so there's a lot that you would be able to get if you were hired into this role. Again, the resumes have been done for you. As I always say, check out the interview resources. Anthony talked about the magic wand question and how it actually helped him get his current role. So make sure you are clapping for people. Make sure you are being intentional with your words and make sure you shoot your shot. Because as I always say, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. Oh,